It is through my threads that all is born. You must not tamper with destiny, Kratos.
This, by many people's standards, is the hardest part of the game. It took me probably an hour and a half to beat it the first time. The second time, this time that I actually recorded it though, I completed it on my first try. This whole time while I've been recording, I've had 2 save files and I've played through every part of the game twice, so I know exactly what's coming up. And I was so happy that I got this on the first try. It was just amazing. Because after spending 2 hours trying to beat it the first time, I just got it my second time when I was anticipating spending another 2 hours to do it. Anyway, this is, there's, I think, 7 different waves of guys that you have to kill, with only 2 treasure chests along the way. Or 2 treasure chests in the middle and 2 at the very end, actually. I would highly recommend using your hammer. Even if you don't have it fully upgraded, it's going to make killing these guys a lot easier. A couple things you might want to get good at is, if you're using the hammer, is quickly putting it away and then rolling. That makes it a lot easier to escape from some enemies. One note about this first section of guys, this first wave of guys, is that you can block every single one of their attacks. And they're all not extremely aggressive, so they're pretty easy to avoid or to defeat. The Juggernauts have a ton of HP, so you really have to watch out for them. I think there's 4 of them total, and 10 or so of the other soldiers that you have to kill. So just keep at it, use the barriers to your advantage if you can. Try to separate yourself between you and the other enemies. That'll make it a lot easier to take on 1 or 2 at a time. You're gonna have to get good at that for the later parts. This first section is much harder than quite a few of the other sections, and it's nice that way, because if you don't do very well, which in all reality I didn't do very well this time through, you want to get through this first couple sections without losing any health, if at all possible. So just keep attacking relentlessly when you have the opportunity to, and eventually you'll kill them all. Now this section of guys, you don't have any wiggle room. There's no walls that go up and down, and the easiest way to get through it is to either A, drop a Kronos' Rage at the very beginning to stun a bunch of them, and then as it's freezing a couple of them, grab someone and start throwing them around, or B, try to parry the first attack that one of them throws at you. I would recommend trying to parry their attacks, because the strategy that I use here works pretty well, but you can't use any magic at all for the first 2 or 3 waves of guys, or is it even 4 waves of guys. There's only a couple sections of this entire part of the game that I use magic, and it's not for the first couple of waves. Now, one thing you need to get good at quickly is parrying the Gorgon's stone gaze. Now, a couple things to notice is that A, you have to press a button to shoot the stone gaze out at other people, and B, when the walls are up, they cannot hurt you through the wall. They cannot turn you to stone through the walls that go up and down. Also, when there is a wall between you and a couple other people, if you're using the hammer, I believe it's L1 and triangle does that ground thing, and that hurts people through the wall. Similar to how you did in the translator section of the game when you had to protect the translator for the first time. You want to take advantage of the fact that you can hurt people through the walls. You can also catch those small magic missiles, magic missiles that they throw at you, and reflect them back to turn them to stone. But they're much more difficult to parry than the other ones. And that's the first video. Second one is the really hard part.